Next session is 37 to 43. Kashyap's prediction and Diti's request. What does Kashyap predict about the pregnancy of Diti? And then Diti again requests Kashyap for mercy. So Maitreya is speaking. The great sage Kashyap, thus addressed by his wife, who was trembling because of fear that her husband was offended, she understood that he had been dissuaded from his daily duties of offering evening prayer, yet she desired the welfare of her children in the world. Verse number 38. Kashyap Uvacha. Now Kashyap is saying, learned Kashyap said, because of your minds being polluted, because of defilement of the particular time, because of your negligence of my directions, and because of your being apathic to the demigod, everything was inauspicious. So here are these five. My mind was polluted. Actually it says, improper time, you neglected my direction, you disrespected Shiva, everything inauspicious. Srila Prabhupada's purport. The condition of having good progeny in society are that husband should be disciplined in religious and regulatory principle, and wife should be faithful to the husband. Bhagavad Gita, Dharma Viruddho Kamo Asmi Bhartara Rishabha. According to the religious principle and representation of Krishna consciousness, before engaging in sexual intercourse, both the husband and wife must consider their mental condition, because the first is mental, mana, polluted mind. So mental condition, is it lust or it is the dharma? It is not against the dharma. It is according to the scripture. Number 2, the particular time of meeting. Number 3, husband's direction. And number 4, obedience to the demigods. According to Vedic society, there is a suitable auspicious time for sex, and that is called Garbhadan Sanskar. Diti neglected all the principle of scriptural injection, and therefore, although she was very anxious for auspicious children, she was informed that her children would not be worthy to be the son of a Brahman. There is a clear indication here in that a Brahman son is not always Brahman. Personalities like Ravan and Hiranyakashipu were actually born of Brahman. So Hiranyakashipu is son of Kashyap, who is Brahman. Ravan is son of Visharva, he is also Brahman. But they were not accepted as Brahman because their father did not follow the regular principle for their birth. When Diti approached Kashyap, he did not follow principle. When Keksi approached Visharva, he was also doing at that time Sandhya Vandan. He was in the evening worship and she approached. So this is the example given by Prabhupada. Because their father did not follow the regulatory principle, therefore the son is not considered Brahman. Such children are called demons or Rakshasas. There were only 1 or 2 Rakshasas in the previous ages due to the negligence of the disciplinary method. But during the age of Kali, there is no discipline in sex life. How then can one expect good children? Certainly unwanted children cannot be the source of happiness in society. But although the Krishna conscious movement, they can be raised to the human standard by chanting the holy name of God. That is the unique contribution of Lord Chaitanya to human society. So what is the unique contribution of Lord Chaitanya to the human society?
Hare Krishna.
Yes.
Yuga Dharma.
Say again.
Yuga Dharma, Hare Krishna Mahamantra.
And that will raise the human standard, society to the human standard. Otherwise, they are fallen in Kali Yuga. Only two were fallen in previous yuga and everybody is fallen in Kali Yuga. Chakravarti Pad writes, because the impurity of your mind, Atmanaha, Ditti's mind was impure because it was hunted by Kama or lust. You will have two sons of cruel mind because of the fault of choosing a terrible time at twilight. You will have two terribly ferocious sons. Since the twilight hours last for 2 Ghatika, twilight, Sandhya is for 2 Ghadi. Because it's for 2 Ghatika, so you will have 2 sons, they are ferocious. Because of ignoring my instruction, you will have 2 sons who do not respect the law of Dharma. Because of ignoring the forms of Shiva, those sons will be haters of the Supreme Lord. O unfortunate woman, Abhadre, the inauspicious action of your sons will be spread everywhere. These 2 low sons will be born from your womb because of their individual and collective faults. They will afflict the world. O passionate woman, Chandi, because of expressing passion in spite of my words of Dharma, you will receive this result. You are the reservoir of lust and anger. Kashyapa also show his anger towards his wife. So these are the words in the verse. What are the words in the verse? Verse number?
39.
Yeah. 39. The hardy one, you will have 2 contemptuous sons, born of your condemned womb. Unlucky woman, they will cause constant lamentation for all 3 worlds. Contemptuous sons are born of condemned womb of their mother. In Bhagavad Gita 140 it is said, when there is a deliberate negligence of the regular principle of religious life, the woman as a class become polluted and as a result there are unwanted children. Strishu dushtasu jayante varna shankara. This is especially true for boys. Prabhupada writes, when woman is polluted, it is especially for boys. If the mother is not good, there cannot be a good sons. The learned Kashyap could foresee the character of son who would be born of the condemned womb of Diti. The womb was condemned because of mothers being too sexually inclined and thus transgressing all the laws and injunction of the scripture. In society where such women are predominant, one should not expect good children. Verse 40. Praninam haya mananam dinanam akritagasam strinam nigriyamananam kopiteshu mahatmaso. They will kill poor, faultless living entities, torture women, and enrage the great souls. Srila Prabhupada writes, demonic activities are predomination. When innocent, faultless living entities are killed, women are tortured, and great souls engaged in Krishna consciousness are enriched. In a demonic society, innocent animals are killed to satisfy the tongue, and women are tortured by the unnecessary sexual indulgence. Where there are women and meat, there must be liquor and sex indulgence. When these are prominent in society by God's grace, one can expect a change in the social order by the Lord himself or by his bona fide representative. It means such degradation cannot be rectified by ordinary methods, either by Lord himself or by his bona fide representative. Kali Kale Name Rupe Krishna Avatar. Krishna has appeared in the form of Hare Krishna Mahamantra, and representative of Krishna appeared Prabhupada, who has really inaugurated this Krishna conscious movement, which can actually save the people from these four sinful indulgence. And that is the four rules that we follow. How long will they live? My sons will live. Please listen, Kashyap is saying. The words of the verse 40 should all be put in the locative case. Oh, there are two verses there. Okay. Verse number 41. At that time, the Lord of the universe, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is the well-wisher of all living entities, will descend and kill them, just as Indra smashes the mountain with his thunderbolt. So Bhagavad Gita 4.8 Paritrana Sadhunam, that is very simple. Now Srila Prabhupada writes, there are many agents of the Lord like Indra, Chandra, Varuna, Durga, Kali, who can chastise any formidable miscreant in this world. The example of mountain being smashed by thunderbolt is very appropriate. Mountain is considered the most strongly built body within the universe, yet it can be easily smashed by the arrangement of Supreme Lord. Supreme Personality Godhead does not need to descend in order to kill any strongly built body. He comes down just for the sake of his devotees. So this purport is simple. Paritranaya sadhunam vinashaya cha dushkritam. Verse number. Now Diti is request. Now Diti is requesting in two verses. Vadam Bhagavata Sakshat Sunabha Udara Bahuna Asha se Putrayor Mahayam Ma Krudhat Brahmanad Prabho. So she is relieved actually. Diti said, it is very good that my sons will be magnanimously killed by the arms of the Personality of Godhead with a Sudarshan Chakra weapon. O my husband, may they never be killed by the wrath of the Brahman devotee, because curse of a Brahman is worst. Srila Prabhupada writes, when the Diti heard that her husband, when Kashyap said the great souls will be angered by the activities of her sons, she was very anxious. She thought that her sons might be killed by the wrath of the Brahman. The Lord does not appear when the Brahman become angry at someone, because the wrath of Brahman is sufficient in itself. He certainly appears, however, when his devotee simply becomes sorry. A devotee of the Lord never pray to the Lord to appear for the sake of troubles or of the miscreants cause for him, or he never asks the Lord to appear, bothers the Lord for asking for protection. Devotee never say that. Two things. He never complained against miscreant and he never requests for protection. But Lord is more anxious to give protection to the devotee. Diti knew well that the killing of her son by the Lord would also be his mercy. And therefore she says that wheel and arm of Lord are magnanimous. If someone is killed by the wheel of the Lord, Chakra, Sudarshan Chakra, and thus fortunate enough to see the arm of the Lord, and that is sufficient for his liberation, such good fortune is not achieved even by the great sages. Chakravarti Pad writes, My sons will see the Lord with upraised, beautiful arm holding chakra. They will be fortunate. Though unavoidably killed by the Lord, they will be liberated from all sins by being killed by his hand. I also desire liberation. As mother of such sons, though I have not seen the Lord yet, I will see him by my relationship to those sons. I do not desire death by the anger of Brahm. I was worried that my sons would be killed by the curse of Brahman, since you said that the great soul would be angry. Hearing now that they will be killed by the Lord, hands of the Lord, I am satisfied in heart. Now the last verse of this section. न ब्रह्मण दंड दग्धस्य न भूत भयदेस्य नारकाश्च अनुगृह्णन्ति याम याम योनिम असौ गतः. Now if Brahman give curse to somebody, then he will be worse than a dog. Prabhupada gives the example of dog. A person who is condemned by the Brahman or is always fearful to other living entities, not favored either by those who are already in hell or by those in the species in which he is born. Srila Prabhupada writes, a practical example of condemned species of life is dog. Dogs are so condemned that they never show any sympathy to other contemporaries. Now next section. This section, last section, 44 to 50, Kashyap speak about the deities would be grandson Prahlad. So, because of repentance of Diti, there is a blessing that he will get a great devotee as a grandson. Kashyap vacha krita shokanutapena, because you have repented. Sadhyaha pratyaha vamarashnad bhagavate urumanaha cha bhave maya api chadarat. You have given respect to me, you have prayed to the Supreme Lord. Putrasyaiva cha putranam, the son of your sons. Bhavitahi kah satam matah, he became great devotee. Ghasyanti tada yascha suddham, and his glory will be sung everywhere. Bhagavat yashat saman, like the glories of Supreme Lord. The learned Kashyap said, because of your lamentation, patience, and proper deliberation, and also because of your unflinching faith in the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and your adoration for the Lord Shiva and me, one of the sons of your son, Prahlad of Hiranyakashipu, will be an approved devotee of Lord, and his fame will be broadcast equally with that of Personality of Godhead. Chakravarti Pad writes, because of lamentation and then repentance for committing offense, and other three reasons among the son, with it other three reasons means respect of Supreme Lord, Lord Shiva, and her husband. The saintly person will glorify his pure fame, similar to the Prahlad, about Prahlad Maharaj. Verse 46. In order to follow in his footsteps, means footsteps of Prahlad Maharaj, saintly person will try to emulate his character by practicing freedom from animosity. Just as purifying process rectify gold of inferior quality. So Srila Prabhupada writes, yoga practice, the process of purifying one's essential identity, is based mainly on self-control. Without self-control, one cannot practice freedom from animosity. In the conditional state, every living entity is envious of another living entity. But in a liberated state, there is an absence of animosity. Prahlad Maharaj was tortured by his father, in so many ways. Yet after the death of his father, he prayed for his father's liberation by the Supreme Personality of Godhead. He did not ask any benediction that he might have asked, but he prayed that his atheistic father might be liberated. He never cursed any of the person who engaged in torturing him at the instigation of his father. That character of Prahlad people want to follow, that not be enemy to anybody. Just as inferior gold is purified by heating and other processes, the devotee will purify themselves by process such as freedom from animosity to attain his nature. So analogy is there. Verse number 47. Yada prasadad idam vishvam prasidati yada atmakam sa swadrikka bhagavan yasya toshyate ananya drisha. Everyone will be pleased with him because of the personality of Godhead. The Supreme Controller of the universe is always satisfied with the devotee who does not wish for anything beyond him. Ananya drisha. Srila Prabhupada writes, Supreme Lord as a super soul can dictate to anyone and everyone as he likes. The would-be grandson of Diti, Prahlad Maharaj, who was predicted to be the great devotee, would be liked by everyone, even by the enemies of his father, means Indra. All the demigods are enemies of his father. They will also glorify Prahlad Maharaj because he would have no other vision beside the Supreme Personality of Godhead. He see inside and outside everywhere Supreme Lord. A pure devotee of Lord sees presence of his worshipable Lord everywhere. The Lord reciprocate in such a way that all living entities in whom the Lord is dwelling as a super soul also like a pure devotee because Lord is present in their heart and can dictate them to be friendly to his devotee. This is very nice statement. Krishna from within the heart as a super soul will dictate all people to be friendly towards devotee. There are many instances in history wherein even the most ferocious animal become friendly to pure devotees of the Lord. Any example? Yes?
Haridas Thakur, snake,
Yeah.
Haridas Thakur.
Yeah, the snake become, he left that place where Haridas was there. Yes. No.
In forest of Jharkhand, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was.
In the form of devotee, Mahaprabhu is acting as a devotee and all ferocious animals become friendly. All the mosquitoes left the place where Sanatana Goswami was doing his bhajan at Mansi Ganga in Govardhan. Many instances. By the Lord's mercy to Prahlad, the universe will be pleased with Prahlad. How is this? Since the Lord as a Paramatma inspired the world, the enemies of his father like Indra will be pleased with Prahlad. The Lord sees his devotees with affection. He is satisfied by devotees' exclusive concentration on him, Ananya Drisha. The devotee's intelligence does not wander to anything else. Such devotees become friends to all living entities because Supreme Lord as a super soul inspire everybody to be friendly to the devotee. Verse 48. Savai Mahabhagavato Mahatma Mahaanubhavo Mahatam Mahayachta Pravardha Bhaktyahe Anubhavitasyaye Niveshyaive Kontam Imam Vihasyati. That topmost devotee, Prahlad Maharaj, of Lord will have expanded intelligence, Mahatma, and expanded influence, and will be greatest of all great souls due to mature devotional service. He will be certainly be situated in transcendental ecstasy and will enter the spiritual sky after quitting his material body. Being great devotee with great determination, the best among those on the level of Prem, he will enter Vaikunt with the mind full of realization by intense bhakti and give up this material world. Srila Prabhupada writes, there are three stages of transcendental development and devotional service, which are technically called Sthai Bhav, Anubhav and Mahabhav. This is a very technical. Continual perfect love of God is called Sthai Bhav. And the Sthai Bhav, we have 5 Sthai Bhav. Shant Bhav, Dasya Bhav, Sakha Bhav, Vatsalya Bhav and Madhuri. This is called Sthai Bhav. And when it is performed in a particular type of transcendental relation, it is called Anubhav. Anubhav means if there is a servitude and if we see the Lord, then he act on seeing the Lord by bowing down is Anubhav. Or like Yashoda is in a Vatsalya Bhav, and if she Krishna is coming after cows, then she will have Anubhav of embracing the child when he comes as a son. So this is Anubhav. And Mahabhav, but the stage of Mahabhav is visible among the personal pleasure potential energy. So Mahabhav is not for all living entities. It is only for the basically Mahabhav Swarup Radharani. So Prabhupada writes, personal pleasure potential energy of the Lord means Radharani. So the Mahabhav part is not for ordinary people, for no other except Radharani and maybe gopis also. It is understood that the grandson of Diti, namely Prahlad Maharaj, would constantly meditate on the Lord and reiterate his activities. Because he would constantly remain in meditation. Prahlad Maharaj is an example of, remember, say, which devotion? Sumranam. He would easily transfer himself to the spiritual world after quitting this material body. Such meditation is still more conveniently performed by chanting and hearing of the holy name of Lord. That is especially recommended in the age of Kali. Chakravarti Pad writes, he will be a great devotee with a great determination or intelligence, Mahatma. Great among those with symptom of prema, Mahatam. The cause of his being considered great is given. Entering into the condition of the spiritual world or actually entering Vaikunt with a mind which has achieved realization through intense bhakti, Mahanubhavaha. He will give up this material world. Now, 49. Alampataha, Shiladharo, Gunakaro, Hrishtaha, Praradhaya, Vyarthito, Dukhittesho, Abhutta Shatroho, Jagat Shoka Harta, Naidagikam Tapam Ivodu Rajaha. Ivodu Raja means moon. So this Alampat Prabhupada has especially used this word for devotees. He will be virtuously qualified, reservoir of all good qualities. He will be jolly and happy in others' happiness, distress in others' distress, and will have no enemies. He will be the destroyer of lamentation of all universes, like the pleasant moon after the summer sun. Srila Prabhupada writes, Prahlad Maharaj, the exemplary devotee Lord, had all good qualities humanly possible. Although he was the emperor of the world, he was not profligate. Beginning from his childhood, he was the reservoir of all good qualities. Without enumerating those qualities, it is said here summarily that he was endowed with all good qualities. That is the sign of pure devotee. The most important character of pure devotee is that he is not lumped or a licentious, and other qualities that he is always eager to mitigate the miseries of suffering humanity. And what is that misery? The most obnoxious misery of the living entity is his forgetfulness of Krishna. A pure devotee therefore always tries to evoke everyone's Krishna consciousness. This is the panacea for all miseries. Chakravarti Pad writes, I have described his devotion and the great qualities arising from his bhakti. Now hear of other qualities in his nature favorable for bhakti. His qualities cannot be fully listed. He is the source of all qualities, gunakaraha. He will be joyful on seeing the prosperity of others and pain on seeing the suffering of others. Just as the moon gives relief from summer sun, he will give relief to the world full of lamentation. Last verse of this section. Antarbahir chamlam Chamalam Avajjanetram Swapurushahichan Ichchanugrihita Rupam Putrastava Shri Lalana Lalana Lalanam Drishtaha Smurata Kundala Manditanam. Your grandson will be able to see inside and outside the Supreme Personality of Godhead, whose wife is beautiful goddess of fortune. The Lord can assume the form desired by his devotee, and his face is always beautifully decorated with earrings. So Narsingadev, Lakshmi Narsingadev. It is predicted here with that the grandson of Diti Prahlad Maharaj would not only see personal Godhead within himself by meditation, but also be able to see him personally with his eyes outside. This direct vision is possible only for one who is highly elevated in Krishna consciousness. For the Lord is not possible to see with material eyes. The Supreme Personality of Godhead has multifarious eternal forms like Krishna, Baladev, Sankarshan, Aniruddha, Pradyumna, Vasudev, Narayan, Ram, Narsimha, Varaha, and Vaman. And the devotees of Lord know all those Vishnu forms. A pure devotee becomes attached to one of the eternal form of Lord, and Lord is pleased to appear before him in the form desired by the devotee. A devotee does not imagine something whimsical about the form of the Lord, nor does he ever think that Lord is impersonal and can assume a form desired by the non-devotees. Non-devotees has no idea of the form of the Lord, and thus he cannot think of any one of above mentioned form. But whenever a devotee sees the Lord, he sees him in a most beautiful decorated form, accompanied by his constant companion, the goddess of fortune, who is eternally beautiful. Now the last verse of this chapter. Maitreya Vacha. This Maitreya said, hearing that her grandson would be great devotee and that her sons would be killed by Krishna, Diti was highly pleased in mind. Diti was very aggrieved to learn that because of her untimely pregnancy, her sons would be demon and would fight with the Lord. But when she heard that her grandson would be a great devotee and that her two sons would be killed by Lord, she was very satisfied. As the wife of a great sage and the daughter of a great Prajapati Daksh, she knew that being killed by the Supreme Person of Godhead is a great fortune. Since the Lord is absolute, his acts of violence and non-violence are both in the absolute platform. On the absolute platform. There's no difference in such acts of the Lord. Mundane violence and non-violence have nothing to do with the Lord's acts. A demon killed by him attained the same result as one who attained the liberation after many, many births of penance and austerity. The word Brisham is significant herein because it indicates that Diti was pleased beyond her expectation. Here ends our this chapter. Any question or comment now? Any question?
In the pregnant,
Yes?
I have a question.
Yes?
Prabhuji, in this book, very interesting, it is mentioned Krishna, not mentioning Varaha or Nrsimha, directly Lord Krishna. So, is he like directly implying that Lord Krishna is the Supreme Personality of God and all the others are expansion when he's talking to Vidura?
What you are saying is?
That in this shloka,
Uh-huh.
the these sons will be killed by Krishna. Like at the beginning of this chapter started with Varaha, and then like obviously
Because they all are actually, Krishna is the fountainhead of all incarnation, Keshav Dharta. So it's in that sense. Keshav Dharta Narhari Rupa. So all the incarnation of Lord actually are coming from Garbhodakshai Vishnu. Garbhodakshai Vishnu comes as an incarnation in material world, but he is ultimately everybody is an expansion of Krishna.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Anybody else has some question?
Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Yes.
So impersonalist means those who don't believe in the form of the Lord.
Yeah.
But how these Shiva's devotees are called impersonalist? Because they believe in the form of Lord Shiva.
See, impersonalist, the word impersonalist came because he was meditating on Brahma Jyoti. The word it says Brahm, he was meditating on Brahma Jyoti. Therefore he was called impersonal.
Also, he is the worshipper of Lord Shiva.
Yeah, he is worshipful. So, in that sense, in a Vedic system, there are impersonalist and impersonalist and personalist. The impersonalists are personalists are so those who worship Vishnu called Vaishnava, those who worship Shiva are called Sevite, and those who worship Durga are called Shakta. So all they are personalists in one sense. In that sense, all the demigod worships are personal in one sense. But because they think all are one, and ultimately all represent the impersonal Brahm. Those who are followers, Shivites are impersonal generally because they say it's ultimately it's a Brahm. Therefore, they are called impersonalist because they think of Brahm.
So they think that all are one. That's why they are.
Yeah, they all are one. Ultimately, these are the different forms which are temporary. The original it is impersonal Brahm.
Thank you.
Hare
Hare
Krishna.
Krishna, thank you.
What are the two types of devotees of Lord Shiva?
Yes, one is impersonalist and one is just we read now.
Not materialist.
Grass materialist and the impersonalist. And what the impersonalists chant? What they chant? Shivoham, Shivoham, Shivoham. I am Shiva. So many people, Shivoham, Shivoham, Shivoham. Okay. So we have finished somehow this chapter. The next chapter, description of the kingdom of God, Vaikuntha. It means the four Kumaras are going to the Vaikuntha and cursing the doorkeepers, and then these Hiranyakashipu appeared into the womb of Diti. So this next chapter which we are starting today. In this chapter, the first 11 verses, the demigod approach Brahma and glorify him. And next section 12 to 25, description of Vaikuntha as given by Brahma. And third section 26 to 36, Kumaras cursed Jay and Vijay. And next section 37 to 45, Lord arrived and gave darshan to the four Kumaras. 37 to 45, the Lord arrived and gave darshan to the four Kumaras. 26, 36, Kumaras cursed. Okay, right. Last section 47 to 50, prayers of the Kumaras to the Lord. Now, summary of this chapter in 2 lines by Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur. He says, in 15th chapter, the Devata asked Brahma to speak about the history of Diti's sons. And he explained that the two doorkeepers were cursed by the Kumaras. So this is the summary of this chapter. Now first verse. Maitreya Vacha. Prajapatyam tu tattejah paratejo hanam ditihi dadara varshani shatam Sankamana Shuddhanat Sura Ardhanat. So Maitreya said, my dear Vidura, Diti, the wife of sage Kashyap, would understand that the sons within her womb would be the cause of disturbance to demigods. As such, she continuously bore the powerful semen of Kashyap Muni, which was meant to give trouble to others for 100 years. Prajapati is Kashyap, Teja par Tejo Hanam Diti. So she kept in the womb children for a long time. Why? To save demigod from harassment. The great sage Sri Maitreya was explained to Vidura the activities of demigods, including Lord Brahma. When Diti heard that from her husband, that the son she bore within the abdomen would be the cause of disturbance to the demigods, she was not very happy. There are two classes of men, devotees and non-devotees. The non-devotees are called demons and the devotees are called demigods. No sane man or woman can tolerate the non-devotees giving trouble to the devotees. Diti therefore was reluctant to give birth to her babies. She waited for 100 years so that at least she could save the demigod from the disturbance for that period. So, somebody may ask this question, what happened to Diti's pregnancy? The offspring of Kashyap, Prajapatim, would destroy the offspring of others, par tejo hanam, the formation of Hanam fall. Okay. She held her children in her womb for 100 years since she was worried about them giving suffering to the Devatas. Or she was worried that they would be killed by Vishnu since she had heard they would be killed by Vishnu. So she kept the pregnancy for a long time. Next verse. By the force of pregnancy of Diti, the light of sun and moon was impaired in all planets. And the demigods of the various planets, being disturbed by that force, asked the creator of universe, Brahma, what is the explanation of darkness in all directions? Srila Prabhupada is taking only there is a one sun in one universe, not many suns, which science says. So his purport is on that, in that line. It appears from this verse of Srimad Bhagavatam that sun is the source of light for all planets in the universe. The modern scientific theory, which states that there are many suns in each universe, is not supported by this verse. It is understood that in each universe there is only one sun, which supplies the light to all the planets. In Bhagavad Gita, the moon is also stated as one of these stars. There are many stars, and when we see them glittering at night, we can understand that they are reflectors of light. Just as moonlight is a reflection of sunlight, other planets also reflect sunlight. And there are many other planets which cannot be seen by our naked eyes. The demonic influence of the suns in the womb of Diti expanded darkness throughout the universe. So one sun in one universe. And the Sakal Grahanam is the Raja Sakal Grahanam. So he is the king of all the planets and gave the light to them. Next verse. Connection with the previous verse. In 3:15, 3 to 8, the demigod glorified Brahma in various ways. Sometime equating him with the Supreme Lord, as he is the Lord's representative. When Brahma or Shiva or Guru, when they are compared with the Lord as equal, it means they are representative of Lord or they are very dear to the Lord. In this way, they enumerated the qualification of Brahma to solve the current problem. So verse number 3, Deva Uchu. Now what the demigods are saying. The fortunate demigods say, O great one, just see this darkness, which you know very well, and which is causing us anxieties, because of the influence of time cannot touch you. There is nothing unmanifest before you. I think in second canto, Narad tells to the Brahma like that, you create this universe. It is like a walnut on your palm, and therefore you are God. But Brahma says, no. Those who are misguided by Maya consider me God. We are all controlled by God, like the bulls are controlled by ropes. Brahma is addressed here as Vibhu and as the personality of Godhead. He is the supreme personality of Godhead's incarnation of mode of passion. So Prabhupada is saying here why Brahma is called Vibhu, because he is Guna Avatar. He is Guna Avatar of the Lord. He is non-different in representative sense. He is a representative of God, number 2. And therefore influence of time cannot affect him. The influence of time, which manifests as past, present and future, cannot touch higher personality like Brahma and other demigods. Sometimes demigods and great sages who have attained such perfection, they are called Trikalagya. They know present, future, and past. Verse number 4. देवदेव जगद्धाता लोकानाथ शिखामणे परेशां त्वं भूतानामसि भाववित्. O God of the demigods, sustainer of the universe, head jewel of the demigods in other planets, you know the intention of all living entities in both the spiritual and material world. Because Brahma is almost on an equal footing with personality of Godhead, he is addressed here as God of the demigods, Deva Dev. And because he is the secondary creator of the universe, he is addressed as sustainer of the universe. Actually, sustainer of the universe is Vishnu. But because he assisted creation, therefore he is called sustainer. He is the head of all demigods, and therefore he is addressed here as a head jewel of demigods. It is not difficult for him to understand everything which is happening in both spiritual and material world. Because yes, he will tell in a spiritual world, for Kumara went to the Vaikuntha, he knows that. And also he knows that what is in this material world. He knows everyone's heart and everyone's intention. How? Through super soul. Therefore, he was requested to explain this incident. Why was the pregnancy of Diti causing such anxieties all over the universe? Verse number 5. Namo Vijnanaya Viryaya Maedam Upeyushe Grahita Gunabhedaya Namaste Avyakta Yonaye. O original source of strength and scientific knowledge, Vijnana Viryaya. All obeisance unto you, Namo. You have accepted differentiated mode of passion, Maedam Upeyushe, from the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Grahita Gunabhedaya. With the help of external energy, you are born of unmanifest source, Avyakta Yonaye. All obeisance unto you. Namaste. This is something when you read the translation, it is better to find the equivalent word in the Sanskrit. Then you will relish this. We offer respect to you who are power of knowledge, Jnana Viryaya, who have accepted the body by the Lord's Maya, composed of Rajogun. We offer respect to you whose source is Supreme Lord. Srila Prabhupada writes, Vedas are the original scientific knowledge for all departments of understanding, and this knowledge of the Veda was first imparted in the heart of Brahma by the Supreme Personality of God. Tene Brahma Hridaya Adi Kavi. Therefore, Brahma is the original source of all scientific knowledge, Jnana Viryaya, Vijnana Viryaya. He is born directly from the transcendental body of Garbhodakshaya Vishnu, who is never seen by any creature of the material universe, Avyakta Yoni, and therefore always remain unmanifest, Avyakta Yoni. Brahma is born from Avyakta Yoni. Avyakta means unmanifest, and Yoni means place of birth, who is Garbhodakshaya Vishnu for Brahma. Brahma is stated here to be born of unmanifest. He is the incarnation of mode of passion in material world, which is the separated external energy of the Supreme Lord. Guna Bhedaya. Verse number 6.
Hare Krishna Babu.
Yes.
Hare Krishna Babu, in the verse number 3 purport, it was written that you also
And Prabhupada used the word Trikalagya. It means they know the present, past, and future. Brahma, you are not influenced by the time in the sense that his life is so long that some 100 years of this universe are known to Brahma without any difficulty. See, it's called, demigods are given the Amrit, nectar, but they also have to leave because now they can live for long time as compared to the human calculation. Compared to the human calculation, they live for a long time. So this Amar does not mean they are eternal forever. So similarly, the influence of the time as compared to the demigods, Brahma is not influenced, because demigods, some 1,000 years are Brahma's one day or something like that. So for what is present, past, and future for us, for Brahma it is a fraction of a second. So it's not, there's no influence. Actually, time is a representative of Supreme Lord. And because Brahma is also representative of Supreme Lord, therefore, because if Supreme Lord wants that, therefore, if Supreme Lord wants, then the representative will not also be influenced by time. In that sense, because Brahma is representative of Supreme Lord and time is also representative of Supreme Lord. Because both are representative of Supreme Lord, therefore they are non-different, and therefore time will not influence the Supreme Lord, the Brahma or other powerful personalities or demigods. But then Prabhupada has actually given what it means is that they know past, present, and future. It's not that they will never die. Another meaning of time is death, kal. So they all are, actually they all have to die, but here the time means the influence of the past, present, and future. Therefore they know the past, present, and future, Trikalagya. There are many rishis, they are called Trikalagya. Is it okay?
Yes, oh yeah. Fine.
O Lord, all these planets exist within yourself, and all the living entities are generated from you. Therefore, you are the cause of this universe, and anyone who meditated upon you without deviation attend the devotional service. Srila Prabhupada has no purport. Chakravarti Pad writes, Ananyena Bhavena can refer to the worshipper of Hiranyagarbha, who meditated on that form as non-different from the Supreme Lord. Hiranyagarbha is Brahma. Or it can refer to meditation through bhakti without material desire, Ananyena Bhavena. The Supreme Lord is the creator of living beings, Atma Bhavanam, and he holds all the world together within himself, since he is the total of everything. In the Lord exist all the Devatas, Asuras, Sadasad, Atmakaha. So now actually Brahma is addressed as Supreme Lord because he is representative of Supreme Lord. There is no defeat in this material world for persons who control the mind and senses by controlling the breathing process, which means pranayam, and who are therefore experience mature mystics means yogis. This is because by such perfection in yoga, they have attained your mercy. Srila Prabhupada writes, the purpose of yogic performance is explained here. It is said that an experienced mystics attain full control of the senses and mind by controlling the breathing process. Therefore, controlling the breathing process is not the ultimate aim of yoga. The real purpose of yogic performance is to control mind and senses. Anyone who has such control is to be understood to be an experienced, mature, mystic yogi. It is indicated here that the yogi who has control over the mind and senses has the actual benediction of Lord, and he has no fear. In other words, one cannot attain the mercy and benediction of the Supreme Lord until one is able to control the mind and senses. This is actually possible when one fully engages in Krishna consciousness. A person whose senses and mind are always engaged in the transcendental service of the Lord, he has no possibility of engaging in material activities. A devotee of Lord are not defeated anywhere in the universe. It is stated, Narayan Paraha Sarve Na Bibhati Kutaschana. One who is Narayan Para, this devotee of Supreme Lord Narayan, he is not afraid anywhere, whether he is sent to the hell or promoted to the heaven. So this blessing is given by Brahma to somebody to perfect in yoga or become a great devotee. Verse number 8. Yasya vacha prajaha sarva gavah tantayevaha yantriyaha haranti balim ayatas tasmai mukhyayate namah. All the living entities within the universe are controlled by the Vedic directions. Vacha praja sarva. An analogy as the bull is directed by the ropes attached to its nose. So here the living entities are like bulls and the Vedic injection is like the ropes. No one can violate the rules laid down in the Vedic literature. To the chief person who has contributed the Vedas, we offer our respect. Srila Prabhupada writes, Vedic literature are law of Supreme Personality of Godhead. One cannot violate the injection given in Vedic literature any more than one can violate the state laws. Any living creature who wants real benefit in life must act according to direction of Vedic literature. The conditioned souls who have come to this material world for material sense gratification are regulated by injection of Vedic literature. Sense gratification is just like salt. This is good analogy. Please mark this. Sense gratification is just like salt. One cannot take too much or too little, but one must take some salt in order to make one's foodstuff palatable. Those conditioned souls who have come to this material world and should utilize their senses according to the direction of Vedic literature. Otherwise, they will be put into the more miserable condition of life. No human being or demigod can enact law like those of Vedic literature, because Vedic regulations are prescribed by Supreme Lord. Shruti says, Tasya vaka tantrihi namani damani. Chakravarti Pad writes, Vacha refers to Veda in this verse. And then he gives the proof. Shruti says, Tasya vaka tantai namani damani. The words of the Lord are the ropes, and his names are also ropes. Verse number 9. Oh, already we are 8. We passed 8, so I think we can finish 11 is good. I thought we can place 25, but anyway, 11 is okay. We just end here. I'll go to 11. Leave it here. Tomorrow, Krishna so desire we should try to finish this chapter if possible. Okay, any question or comment? Hare Krishna. Yes. No question, no comment. Thank you. See you tomorrow.
Thank you so much.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
So this analogy, remember, is good. What is